The Edmonton Oilers have their backs against the walls. They drop Game 2 to the Florida Panthers. Lots of storylines coming out of Game 1 and into Game 2. And the Oilers were just simply outmatched. But before we get into that breakdown, make sure to subscribe here to Oilers Digest, as 90% of you have not yet subscribed to the channel. We are the one-stop shop for any and all Oilers coverage as we continue here through the Stanley Cup Final, through Games 3 and 4, and into the draft in free agency. Now, Saturday night, the Oilers were all over Florida, 32 shots, none were able to go in, optimistic after the post game with McDavid, Hyman, and Draisaitl saying, okay, we can do that again. But in game 2, a bit of a different story here. Mattias Ekholm making it 1-0 Oilers early on in the first period, halfway through the first period, I should say, off the stick of McDavid and Bouchard. The first 5-hole goal that Sergei Bobrovsky has given up in the 2024 playoffs. Of course, all the scouting reports had to shoot high on him, and Mattias Ekholm said no thank you and put it 5-hole on Bob to make it 1-0. And in the second period, Nico Mikkola makes it 1-1. And then not a whole lot after that, but in the third period, Evan Rodriguez capitalizes on an Evan Bouchard turnover and makes it 2-1 Florida, and then he adds another one on the power play, and Aaron Ekblad makes it 4-1 Florida as Florida takes a 2-0 series lead. And of course, the big storyline last night was the reffing, as you can see there in the first period. Sam Bennett and Warren Foegele both with knee on knees, except the only difference was Warren Foegele got 5 in a game misconduct as he was ejected after only a little under 2 minutes of ice time. And you can see the rest of the penalty summary. Of course, Leon Draisaitl with that hit against Alexander Barkov. There's no supplemental discipline for that. The only discipline was Sam Carrick after that mini spear there. Barkov's status for Game 3 is unknown. Hopefully, I'd like to see him back in the lineup there. Pretty dynamic player. Fun to play. Or fun to watch him play against the Oilers. Of course, he's a little frustrating when he tries to shut down McDavid in Draisaitl there. But just looking at the stats, you can see, all the ice time with Darnell Nurse after receiving a hit from Evan Rodriguez in the first period. He was only limited to 20 minutes of play. Of course, he had a small shift before the first intermission and then spent the rest of the game on the bench, as it looked like an upper body injury there, but you can see Evan Bouchard with 30 minutes time on ice, and he pretty much took control of that blue line. Of course, he had that turnover there to make it 2-1 Florida. As he played the rest of the game, seemed to be a little bit lacking, so to speak. But I mean, he's had a phenomenal playoffs. You can kind of cut the guy a break there. And Stuart Skinner, I've seen a lot of criticism towards Stuart Skinner's game last night. I think the only one that he could have had back was the second goal there from Florida from Evan Rodriguez, but of course that was a turnover from Bouchard, I should say, and it went off Ryan McLeod if I'm not mistaken there. But the rest of the team, you're expecting a lot more from your bottom six, except for guys like Janmark or Brown, who were a part of that almost history-making penalty kill as they killed off 34 straight penalties before Evan Rodriguez notched one on the power play. But again, you're just expecting, not just from your big guns, but from everyone in the lineup. Sure, you're not expecting your bottom six to score, but you just expect them to transfer the energy to that top six. Hold off Florida, and like I said, just bring that energy. That's all that matters when you hold Florida to nothing, and your top guys are on the ice. Should expect something to happen there. But, like I said, backs are against the wall against the Florida Panthers. Of course, Edmonton going back to Rogers Place down 2-0. Of course, the saying is, you're never in trouble until you lose at home. But just to bring us some stats here, this marks the first time the Oilers have scored just one goal in a 2-game span since February 2022. Of course, they lost 3-0 against Vegas, and then Chicago 4-1 in those 2 games. I did look it up, and then they went on a 6-game winning streak after that. Will that continue through games 3 and 4? Who knows? Optimistic. I mean, this team has been on winning streaks throughout the playoffs. They won 3 straight against LA, 3 straight against Vancouver, and then 3 straight against the Dallas Stars. Of course, the Panthers, a little bit better than all 3 of those, but the Oilers, they went on a 16-game winning streak. What more can you ask of them? They've been there before, not necessarily against, the same caliber of opponent as Florida seems to clog up the O-zone, and they're just a very aggressive style. Edmonton tried to emulate that style last night, And they should have just stuck with their game one game plan when it seemed to work. Of course, they didn't score anything, but they did get chances. They had 3 breakaways. Lots of great looks on the power play. A couple posts hit last night, and then Bob wasn't as effective last night, seeing as the Oilers only had 7 shots through 40 minutes of play. But I mean, it's really not over there. NHL said though to bring some optimism, or reckless optimism, I should say. 0 high danger chances at 5 off of 5 for the Oilers, while they went 0 for 4 on the power play. Of course, they went 0 for 7 throughout the first 2 games against Florida. They've had some pretty good chances, but Florida, they seem to be very aggressive on the penalty kill, and of course the Oilers haven't seen that type of strategy throughout the playoffs. Of course, the LA Kings with a very stagnant penalty kill with everyone standing in one place, so the Oilers were able to move around, but Florida seems to match them, and they haven't quite adjusted that so far. In Game 3, we might be able to see that. Who knows? Sid also said the big guns failed to produce, and the bottom 6 was -2. Of course, I noticed when we went over the box score there, guys like Evander Kane, he's dealing with that sports hernia injury. It'd be nice to see somebody else in for that lineup in favor of him, give him a night off. Say, I don't know, Corey Perry, bring him back into the lineup, or even a guy like Sam Gagner. I know before the Stanley Cup final, there was a quote from Sam Gagner saying he'd do whatever it takes for this team to win. In his limited performances this year, where we have seen Sam Gagner, I mean, he's been fantastic. I mean, in any 3 of his Oiler stints, he's been with the team 3 separate times. He's been a guy to count on, and what else can you say? And Sid said they just didn't simply deserve to win, and not much else to say. And I agree with him. I mean, when you only have 7 shots after 40 minutes of play, you really do not deserve to win. You could say that Game 6 against Dallas was an outlier, where it was just the tremendous play of Stuart Skinner. But again, Florida in Dallas, Florida's a little bit better than Dallas, seeing as Florida has... Everyone said Dallas had more depth, but I mean... Florida's just more potent, because you got guys like Luster-Ryan, Bennett, Reinhart, Kachuk, Barkov. They just come at you in waves, and the Oilers have to adjust to that quickly, or else it'll be a very, very short series with games 3 and 4 coming tomorrow night, Wednesday, and Saturday or Thursday. There's a 2-day break, I should say. My apologies. Thursday and Saturday in Edmonton, but. Lastly, history in the making. McDavid said post-game, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be difficult. I'm excited to see what a group is made of. I'm excited to see our group come together, and I'm excited to see us fight through adversity. I'm looking forward to people doubting us again. I mean, those are very inspiring words from your captain. I mean, what else can you say from him? He doesn't like to lose, obviously. But he's got stats against him. In the history of the Stanley Cup Final, only 5 teams have come back from a 2-0 deficit to win the series and the title. Those 5 include the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs. They were down 3-0 against the Detroit Red Wings. The 1966 and 1971 Montreal Canadiens, and the 2009 Pittsburgh Penguins and the 2011 Boston Bruins. Of course, those past 2 teams, they were down 2-0 on the road, and they came back home to make it 2-2. Of course, the Bruins winning in Game 7. Both the Penguins and Bruins winning in Game 7, I might add. But heading into Game 3, my final thoughts. Hopefully, you see some better reffing. Hopefully, you see some cleaner hockey. I know with the Oilers and the Panthers, the Panthers, more importantly, they do have that reputation. But the Oilers, they just need to play their game. They can't match up with Florida's style, as you saw last night, the aggressiveness. And just stick with Game 1, because if they do stick with Game 1's game plan, producing those high-danger 5-on-5 chances and just breaking through on the power play, it should be a longer series. And if that doesn't happen, then we might see the Bruins come out Saturday night. But that's it for today. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Let me know what you thought of anything last night. The Draisaitl hit on Barkov, I don't think it deserved a suspension, a fine. He didn't get anything at all. The only supplemental discipline, like I said, was Sam Carrick with his spear. Hopefully Barkov's back in the lineup. And let me know what you think about those 2 neon knees with Foegele and Bennett. Should they have both got 5? Should they just both got 2? Let me know what you think. That's it for the video today. I'm Matt. Have a great day.